The golf swing is a complex, unnatural motion that can only be perfected through practice. What is important to remember is that there's not one ideal swing that works for everyone. Watch any PGA Tour event and you will see as many different swings as there are golfers. The following tips should give anyone who plays golf some idea of what might be wrong with their swing. I believe that the setup is the most important part of the golf swing. If you don't have the right setup, then the swing won't matter. The proper setup is when you address the ball, your feet must be shoulder width apart or else it'll cause off balance. If you're too wide, then you won't be able to turn around and hit the ball square. And if you're too narrow, the backswing will get you off balance and the ball won't go where you want it to go. Another part of the setup you have to consider is the right shoulder has to be dropped. If your right shoulder is square like this, then when you come to hit the ball, you won't hit the ball square. You'll kind of hit it behind your body, and it won't result in the shot you want. So be sure to remember that to keep your right shoulder or back shoulder down if you're left-handed. Back shoulder down, and this will cause you to come square at the ball. Another part of the setup you have to take into consideration is the grip. There are two kinds of grips. The grip I'm doing now is the overlapping grip, which is shown like this. It's make sure the pinky of your bottom hand is right above the knuckle of your front hand. And the purpose of this grip is to control the club head And if you can't control the club head, then the ball might go right, left, and it might go everywhere. And another part of the setup you have to consider is keeping your head down. If you don't keep your head down, then when you hit the ball, if you're looking up, and you won't be able to see where the ball is, and you probably will whiff it or not hit it as the way you want it to. Now the other part of the setup you have to do is the aim. And to aim, you have to make sure you can see how your feet are pointed at the target, and you also have to make sure your shoulders are pointed at the target, because if your shoulders are kind of off of your target, then your club will go the direction of your shoulders and not of your feet. And the stance is one of the most important parts of the golf game, and if you don't have the right stance, then your swing won't be right. Now the next part of the golf game I'm going to talk about is the backswing. The backswing is really one of the most important. I know they're all important, but backswing is one of the very important parts of the golf game. If your backswing isn't on the right path, or it's a little quick or misjudged, then the impact of the ball won't be right and your shot won't be like you wanted. The proper backswing would be to take the club back on a straight line with your target. Hopefully this is kind of pointed at my target, but I don't know. And then when you take it back, you have to make sure you're parallel at the top. And if you go too far, then your body will get ahead of your club, and you'll come at impact kind of like with your face open, and it'll go right. And if you keep it too low, then you might come across too far and it'll hook it. And the next part, the other parts of the backswing are if you take the club back too inside, then your result will come back and it'll push it right. And if you take it too much outside, it'll come back, hit the ball kind of like that, and it'll hook it to the left. Also in the backswing, you got to make sure it's not too quick, because if it's too quick, then your whole body in motion gets off judge and your balance will get off, and it just won't result in a good shot. So the backswing, keep your balance, keep your head down, and make sure you always look at the ball when you turn your shoulders. And in the backswing, you want to make sure your weight is on your back foot. So when you transfer your weight, when you hit the ball, it's all smooth, one motion. And the backswing can be a little technical. That's where most of the people have their problems with. Most of the problems with their game. And if you have the right backswing, I believe that you can have a great golf game. The next part I'm going to talk about is downswing and impact. I believe that if you do every other things right, like the backswing and the follow through and the setup, then the downswing and impact will take care of itself. There's nothing really you have to think about when you have a downswing. The only thing I really try to think about is not to swing too quick or too slow. You have to kind of moderate it. If you swing too quick, like wanting to crush it, it'll often result in a bad shot. Or if you swing too slow, your club head or grip might, the club head might like fly around and it won't be square when you hit it. When you hit the ball, this is kind of what it kind of looks like. I know this might look weird, but the club has to be actually more slightly like this when you hit the ball in order to hit it squared. When the ball hits the club, it kind of flies, the ball hits it and kind of goes up and then out. That's how different clubs are made, like more loft equals like more flight and less loft equals less flight and more distance. And the other thing that you do in the follow through is when you follow through, your back foot comes up, kind of like you see on the pros, and then you finish kind of like that. That just shows that your body transfer is right. And if your follow through is kind of like that, and on your back foot, that means you don't transfer your weight in your backswing. That can often result in a huge slice or duff or something. And the other thing to remember when you have your follow through is that when you follow like this, it's kind of a nice tip I always do, is when you follow through like this, you want to make sure your club's like pointed right at your target. That kind of means your club's on path and your club head's square. Because if your club head's kind of like off like that, or off on the other directions, that shows that your path is off, and that will often result in a bad shot. So that's pretty much all that there is about impact. Like I said before, if you do the other things right, then the impact will take care of itself, and you won't have much to worry about with the downswing impact. Alright, now I'm going to put what I showed you all together and try to do a shot kind of at this power thing right here. I don't know, this is a wiffle ball just to be safe. I'm not going to go and hit any houses or anything. Alright, so I got to make sure my aim's right. Hopefully my aim's right. And then I got to make sure I keep my head down, right shoulder down. Let's see where this goes. Beautiful. As you can see, golf is a complex sport with many different aspects of the game. Just because you've watched this speech doesn't mean that you can go out and play with the pros. You need many hours of practice. Grantland Rice once said that golf is 20% technique and the other 80% is philosophy, humor, tragedy, romance, melodrama, companionship, and conversation.